aforementioned, wow, from an ex-guest on a different subject, Paul Viollis, the security brief. He's a host of this, sees all sorts of security issues, but I'd be remiss, because I'm going to get into the Apple thing, on this whole, I know you're not a political type, but this gets pretty big when now God inserts.
Well, I got to tell you, Neil, I mean, all things considered, if Trump really wants to step in a bad well, using disgraceful and the Pope in the same sentence, you know what, not a good thing. Bad karma, let's just say that.
I don't know.
You know, there are certain people you don't want to upset. I'm putting the Pope on that list.
But, you know, you could argue in South Carolina with a lot of TikTok people who don't necessarily flip over what the Pope has been saying and doing.
Right.
It could come both ways. Thank you for indulging my tacky interest
Always a pleasure
on politics. This Apple thing, you're the expert, but as you know, I read a prompter, so I guess I qualify. I think it's very fixable. If I have a problem with anything I do with any of my Apple products, I love Apple products. I've been an investor in Apple for decades. I can go over to at the Apple store here, one of those guys in the blue shirts who are geniuses like you, take a look at it, wham, bam, fix it, get whatever they need, they can get. So I think Apple can get this stuff. Right. We don't have to deal with any constitutional crisis or raiding our privacy. Give the phone of this, you know, San Bernardino attacker. Let's open it up. Let's call it a day done.
Right. Where's the problem?
What is the problem?
I don't know what the problem is. And the interesting thing about this, Neil, and you just said it, you're a fan of Apple, so am I. But part of that reason is because they have hired arguably the most brilliant mathematical minds in the world. That's a fair statement. It's an impossibility to think that they would build anything that doesn't have a backdoor to it. So to say that they're being inconvenienced to try to accommodate the FBI while conducting a criminal investigation post a terrorist attack on our soil where 14 Americans are killed is absurd. It's absolutely absurd.
And they've done it 70-some-odd times.
Yes, right? Really, you know, the thought that they're being inconvenienced is pathetic.
Now, Apple is saying this is a little different here. It's not quite so easy to retrieve this stuff or to get. I don't know. But I know that any time I've had any issue with any Apple product, those guys in the blue shirts can fix it. It's done.
There's no question about that. So their argument really, I think, has absolutely no legs to it whatsoever.
They just want to open up this device.
They just don't want to contend with the right to privacy. They keep saying we have a right to privacy. They're casting the shadow, thinking that there's going to be a long-term effect here, Neil. There isn't. The bottom line is this, and I'll say this, is that there's a gross disparity between someone pushing on capitalism and someone pushing on patriotism. We drew a line in the sand. They're not saying, the FBI is not saying, we want this information for the purpose of intelligence gathering. They're saying we're conducting a criminal investigation.
Here's what I understand. Help me with this. They say that, that is Apple. That the government was far more broad in its demands. Give us the software to whatever to get through this back door, whatever you guys call it, to get access to this guy's, anything it was emailing, texting, saying, writing. So that was the problem. So why can't, if that were the case, and I've heard that's not the case, if you went back and said, no, this phone in question, we'll open it up for you, but that's it. Right. This phone will be phone number 71 that we've done that for.
Exactly. You're 100% on point, you know. And you are, as always. That's why I'm here.
Amazing.
But the thing is, you have to know that the court is not going to grant carte blanche. They never do. Whenever you go for a search warrant, any kind of court order, you have to be very specific about what you want. The court's not going to say, have carte blanche and be able to get a code, they'll get anything. That's not the case, and that was never the case. Very simple.
You're a genius with this stuff. Is the fear that when you open up a phone, you find a way to get past whatever the means that prevent you to do that, that is exposed to the government says, aha, now we know how to do this if it comes up in the future?
It's possible, but at the end of the day, the bigger picture is we're still looking at the minds of Apple. These guys will create something, and if they let you in this time, they'll stop you the next time. They have the capability.
But the government, they're saying, will go too far because they'll always do this.
Well, that's their contention. Right. But it's just really not realistic.
So who do you trust more, the government or Apple?
I trust the government in this case, no question about it, hands down. And I'll just say this in closing. The reason why is this isn't an intelligence gathering exercise. This is a criminal investigation after 14 people were killed in a terrorist attack. Apple needs to stop this nonsense and let them do their job.
Single phone, single event. We want to get to the bottom of that event. I don't know. I mean, we've made this much bigger deal than it's worth.
Neil, what if there's information on their phone that's going to point to future attacks we don't know about?
Bingo.
Do they want to live with that? Should hope
not.
not.
The pie in the sky.
No question.
Ridiculous. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Always a pleasure.
I appreciate it. All right.